underemployed and unemployed individuals in rural and urban areas, as well as in our military. His model for creating high-wage IT job opportunities while simultaneously removing people from crises has been called a national model in solving the skills gap and creating net new jobs for America. Interapp's work has been featured in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, TEDx Palo Alto, USA Today, and The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Ankur is a recipient of a number of awards, including the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award, 40 Under 40, Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame, and Business First Business of the Year. Please welcome me, or join me in welcoming Ankur Gopal.
Thank you, Dean Tewksbury, Dean Hoop. Before we start, let's get this party started on the right foot. Give me ILL. 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 I've always wanted to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished faculty, proud friends and family, and University of Illinois graduates of 2018. I am a proud graduate of the University of Illinois, and it's in my honor to be here at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. When I was asked to give the inaugural winter commencement address, many thoughts ran through my head. Primarily, what do you tell a group of elite graduates on their big milestone day? Since I have been on the other side of graduation plus or minus 5 years, ish, I thought I would share with you some of my experiences that could save you several years of headache and heartache. So today with you, I'll share 3 items that I've learned since graduation that continue to drive me each day and have served me extremely well. First, I'm going to tell you the single greatest lesson the University of Illinois taught me. Second, I'm going to tell you how at one point in my life I met the woman of my dreams. And third, I'm going to tell you how I was able to find my purpose on this earth. Are you ready? It's a celebration, guys. Come on, are you ready? Let's have some fun. All right. So I grew up in a small town near the Illinois-Indiana-Kentucky border called Owensboro, Kentucky. When the time came to pick a university, a lot of my friends were choosing nearby schools like the University of Louisville, University of Kentucky, where I knew most people. I knew I'd have a lot of connections there, but I had a friend who came to the University of Illinois who was leaving, and she said, "You should come visit, consider it." Like many of you, it was uncharted waters for me to come to a university I didn't know anyone, but I overcame that feeling and accepted the offer to attend. When I came here, there was so much I wanted to experience. One thing I wanted to do was play on the U of I tennis team. I got a meeting with Coach Craig Tiley, and I remember telling him, "Hey, you should have me on your team." He replied to me and said, "Well, Ankur, if you think you're good enough to play on my team, then you should have no problem playing the walk-on tournament and proving yourself that way." I was a bit miffed by that. I was a good player, and I wasn't used to having heard that coming from Kentucky. But I followed his advice, practiced, and won the walk-on tournament, which got me the opportunity to play and practice with the U of I tennis team. It also showed me how good the other players on the team really were, and that no matter how good you may think you are, nothing is guaranteed. It was a humbling but immensely satisfying feeling to earn that rather than just to have it given to me. To this day, I still play competitively and continue to always improve my game, and I'm appreciative of what U of I Tennis and Coach Tiley taught me that day. Another great experience I had was with the Indian Students Association. I thought it would be a great way to make friends with similar backgrounds as me, and every year we had an annual performance called Indian Night that almost everyone I knew was participating in by either singing or dancing. I never did that growing up, and after my friends all rejected me from their performances, they said, one of my friends said, "Well, you can't sing and you can't dance. Maybe you should try out for MC." I was terrified. I never had spoken in front of people before, and I was extremely shy, believe it or not. But I didn't want to feel left out. So I agreed. It was probably the only thing I was capable of doing. So I just decided to audition, and I got the part. I was even more terrified. But as I prepared for it, performed it, I realized not only did I enjoy it, but I actually was pretty good at it. It gave me a lot of personal satisfaction to be able to make people smile and laugh at the same time. That unlocked a new skill that I never knew I had. I did more speaking, I wrote more comedy. I joined Second City in Chicago as a hobby and performed at over 200 events. And that experience at Illinois, while nerve-wracking and uncomfortable, that I still remember to this day at the Auditorium, unlocked a skill that I never knew I had, and one that I gratefully use today. My academic experience at the U of I also helped mold me. My professors and peers, the ones I agreed with and the ones I didn't agree with, taught me valuable lessons. In times of difficulty when I was a student, I asked for some guidance from one of my professors, the late Dr. Blair Kling, who helped me think through some of the most uncomfortable situations I had as a student. I'm grateful for him and all my teachers who took interest in me and helped me with their time, experience, and guidance, and who taught me grace under pressure. With that, I thank you, esteemed faculty, for all you have done and continue to do for your students today. Please join me in a round of applause for your faculty. So my U of I experience was humbling, eye-opening, and sometimes uncomfortable. And that's what I want all of you to realize. Be okay with being uncomfortable. Embrace uncertainty as a welcome challenge. Do things that may scare you, and be ready to fail at them, and then do more of them. Because once you finally get the courage to walk up to the diving board and gingerly fall off into the pool, you may quickly realize that you were meant to do backflips off the high dive. Next, to tell you how I met the woman of my dreams one time. As a startup entrepreneur, I spent a lot of time working on my business and career goals, long hours, lots of focus, and I realized I was neglecting my personal life. So I started deliberately treating my personal life as important as my career. I even started a Match.com profile in 2010 when it was still pretty new. It was 2010. I know none of you use that anymore, but that's okay, please. But if I was going to delve in the nether regions of online dating, I had to do it differently, so I made new rules. Number one, I wasn't going to waste time. I was only going to engage people that met my very stringent criteria. So I spent a night on my whiteboard writing down everything that was a deal breaker for me, and I didn't allow myself to deviate from that plan. My second rule was that if I ever met someone I was still talking to after 2 weeks, I had to offer to meet them in person and take them out to dinner. So I bought a membership to Match, and off I went with my rules. I worked hard at it, several hundred messages, 30 or so first dates, very few seconds, but nothing that clicked. It was sometimes disheartening, and some of my friends and even my family told me maybe I was shooting too high and my criteria was too hard. I thought about that, and especially on November 27th, an email came to me that said, your 3-year membership on Match is up for renewal. Would you like to renew? Had it already been 3 years? What's the matter with me? Was my criteria too stringent? Was I that insufferable a human being? Were my friends and family right? But I decided I would continue but not renew. While I decided not to renew, I did decide to stick with my original criteria and go for broke through the last few weeks of my membership and explore the entire continent. I came across a profile of a girl that looked interesting. She was looking for guys 50 miles outside of LA, and I was in Kentucky. For all of you non-geography majors, that's a pretty far trip. So I wrote her one sentence. I wrote, hey, I like your picture and profile. I'm a bit outside your travel range, but take a look at mine. If you're interested, let's chat. Sent. The next day, I got a very nice reply from her. We exchanged emails, had great conversations, and even started talking on the phone. I really started liking this girl. And then my 2-week rule came up. I decided to tell her at that point I was planning on being in LA for business. I wasn't. And asked if she'd like to meet me for dinner. She said, I'm sorry. I'm not sure about that because, after all, we barely know each other, and I still think that's a good idea. I was mortified at being rejected. But then out of nowhere, I just blurted out, oh, come on. One dinner might change your life. And there was a long pause. Until finally she said, "I'll see you Friday night." And I was off to LA. Now, why I shared this story and how this dinner happened is more remarkable for a few additional reasons. Number one, I was on Match for 3 years, and she was on Match for 24 hours. Just as a curious experiment over some wine with her girlfriends, who said, "Hey, we've met some people that way, maybe you should try it." In 24 hours, she received 814 messages. She replied to 2. There was no way our paths should ever have crossed. A less than 1% chance that we should have met. Odds were ridiculously stacked. You go get that, it's fine. The odds were ridiculously stacked against us meeting. This year, we celebrate 5 years of being happily married, have 2 amazing kids, and I could have not found a better friend, mother, and wife who supports and encourages me in ways I didn't think another human being could. She's every bit my soulmate, and finding her has been one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. So, thank you. She's watching at home with our kids. Hi, honey. So don't let odds ever dictate what you want in this life. Go after exactly what you want. Don't deviate on your criteria, whether it's in love, business, or personal excellence. Determine what you want, make a strategy to get it, and put yourself out there and execute relentlessly. That space may be uncomfortable, but that's when things happen and you put yourself in positions where one dinner could change your life. The last item I'll share is how I found purpose that was missing in my life and how that purpose has actually put us on a national stage. I know a lot of you are considering starting your own companies and being entrepreneurs, so I was asked to talk a bit about how I started my entrepreneurial journey. So I got curious, and when writing the speech, I thought I would do a little research on the word entrepreneur, find out what it means and where it came from. And I looked it up and found out entrepreneur is actually an ancient French word that when translated roughly means he who lives with parents. Some of you knew what that meant already. I see the parents are going, yeah, that's my son. Okay, there we go. I started my career after U of I at Accenture and learned a lot. I always wanted to try my hand at my own company. I started a technology company that focused on innovation. I decided to keep that company in the Midwest rather than automatically move to the coast, which was a risk. We started small and built our reputation over time. We're patient and started working with a lot of fantastic Fortune 1000 companies. I found along the same time we needed more talent, and we built our own in-house training program, which was successful. And our governor and congressman found out about that and asked if I'd be willing to put a similar program in eastern Kentucky, where a lot of people were affected by the decline of the coal economy and job displacement was running rampant. I said, I don't know if this will work, but I'd be willing to try. I went to my team and told them what we had been asked. I said, we've been asked to do something that may or may not work, and if it doesn't, we may lose valuable time and focus of our own company mission. But if it does work, we may change a lot of people's lives and find a new pipeline of talent for Kentucky. Our team collectively said, if this works, this could be really impactful and could be really cool to help lift people out of poverty. Let's do it. It was a unanimous yes from my entire team. So off we went into eastern Kentucky, 850 applications in 6 weeks. We assessed the individuals and selected the first class of 50. For 6 months, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, our team and trainees worked hard, and for most people in our program, this was their one shot to change themselves into the life they wanted. When the dust settled, 35 out of those 50 passed. And 2 years later, I'm very proud to report that those individuals are still gainfully employed in the tech economy and in control of their own destiny and their own careers. People that were on food stamps or having their houses foreclosed on now had skills that gave them upward mobility in the workforce. And they're now teaching their kids how to code on weekends. Some became the first of their family to go back to college. We were actually helping our state break generational cycles of poverty by providing opportunities. But the credit goes to my team and trainees, and each and every one of them took advantage of the opportunity we put before them, and that's why they're thriving. Because of that success, we got a lot of national attention for our work. We've found more success in rural and urban areas as we've expanded our program throughout the Midwest and changed more lives. I'm also proud to share with you that we are launching our program with our U.S. military, helping train transitioning soldiers, their spouses, and veterans as they assimilate back into civilian life. Thank you. This experience helped me learn a very human lesson through all of this. That people aren't just looking for handouts, they're looking for hope. Many of you will be in positions of influence throughout your careers and throughout the world to make real systematic change. So I encourage all of you to find your ways to create opportunities for others, give people first chances, and create hope in your communities. That's how you become a citizen of the world, which is what I believe your U of I education has prepared you to be. So, my fellow Illini, if you are willing to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, willing to accept the challenge of less than 1% odds, and constantly put yourself out there, even when you're unsure of what to expect, ironically, you may actually find that your purpose will actually find you. And when it does, your mission for your time on this earth will become crystal clear. You are an elite group of individuals graduating from one of the top universities in the universe, and with that great accomplishment comes with a great responsibility. I will speak for my generation when I tell you that we are all rooting for you. We need you to succeed, and we are all willing to help you. You have the power and ability to be the next greatest generation. For you are the leaders who we will rely on to lead the world's greatest companies, govern the world's greatest countries, and solve the world's most pressing problems. You will build products that will improve our lives. You'll create medical breakthroughs that we will use. You'll make laws and policy that progress our society. You'll wage wars on poverty. You'll fight for what is right, what is moral, and what is impactful. And through your talents, my generation expects you'll create a better world for all of us based on pillars of equity, equality, and excellence. Right now, you are at the height of your theoretical training, and now it is the time to put that into practice. You all have been taught to make plans, but in real life, those plans will change. But when that happens, embrace that challenge. That's part of the fun. That's the juice of the journey. For in that space, that's where the real magic happens, and when you'll find gears in yourselves you didn't know you had, and that will help you grow and keep building your resolve. Always keep learning, always keep challenging, always stay humble, always tackle the hard problems, always look to empower others. And as you march through life, no matter where in the world your purpose may take you, always keep fighting, Illini. Congratulations to all the graduates. It's been an honor to speak to you today. Godspeed, and I wish you immense success. Thank you.